Good evening, everyone. My name's Master Eric, and this is Shivan. And I want to say that this broadcast is being broadcasted and sponsored by ZMB Communications Limited. Also, Conversation with Zelisa, and we are going across on U97.5 FM. I want to say thank you to them for tonight. Everybody, it's been 2 weeks. Now, 2 weeks ago, we covered what we called the shift. Mm-hmm. And it kind of shook up a lot of people.
Definitely.
And if you didn't get to view it and you're listening in your car right now, please go to YouTube, Master Eric. You'll see the golden key. Hit subscribe. And you can look at the past programs because the shift is super important, people. It is super important to find out why governments and institutions around the world has kept this a secret for the last 30, 40 years or more. So tonight, we're going to be talking about energy afflictions.
Right.
And energy afflictions, Shivan, what do you think an energy affliction is?
Well, from what it is I know, from my knowledge, is the energy affliction happens with certain times of the month. It's not an everyday thing. And I think it works in connection with the planets.
Correct. Now, a lot of people say, oh, I don't believe in astrology, and I don't believe in this and that. But do you know, Shivan, that about 80% of the world goes by it, and they don't even know that it's actually astrology? Like farmers all around the world, they have the farmer's almanac.
Right.
And the almanac predicts when is the good time to start planting your corn, your wheat, right, everything else, when to harvest, everything. And that's astrology.
Right.
Right? And then, if you read the Bible, the three wise men, how was they led to Jesus? It was the star in the sky, astrology. Right? Everybody back then looked at astrology, believed in astrology. But then modern man came in and said, we don't believe in that. Well, that's fine. That's their choice, right, and we're not going to knock that. But what I'm going to show tonight is, during this program, is that the planet afflictions are real. Now, Shivan, you've been around me. You've seen a lot of people come and see me.
Yeah.
And when they come to the office. And you'll see that some people, they feel like almost an anxiety attack.
Yes.
And their temper starts to flare up at certain times of the month. Or if it's a direct affliction, mm-hmm, it may go on for a certain time period.
Yes.
Okay. Now, a lot of people don't understand. Yes, you might have a medical condition. Mm-hmm. But if you don't have a medical condition, you can still get these symptoms the same way as if you had a medical condition. And a lot of people say, well, my aunt, she acts possessed. Every certain periods, she's like a different person. And all you aunties and tanties out there, I'm not picking on you, but I'm just giving analogies, and this is what people come with. And they're wanting to know how. Now, how do you think the planets can affect the human body? Do you have any idea?
Well, from what I think, it affects the energy systems in your body, the chakras. in different ways, right? So I think that different planets affect different chakras because each chakra is to do is for a specific purpose.
But is that being taught?
No.
Right. So everybody tuning in, this is why we have the Untold Truth with Master Eric and his guests. Because lots of things are not being taught to the public. And then also in different beliefs. Because different beliefs believe in this.
Right.
Okay, especially the Hindus. Right? So they'll go to their spiritual leader. He'll read their patra. And he'll come up and see the 12 signs, and then they'll say, okay, you have a Gra. And it could be Shani, Rahu, or Ketu, or other ones.
Right.
Right? But those are the three main ones
Yeah.
that people
And the famous
have
ones.
to deal with.
Yeah.
Now, they'll say you need to do a Gra prayers.
Right.
Right? Now, people, when they do that, you can't get rid of the affliction. You can, what they call, appease it. You can lower the effect of it
Right.
by doing certain things. But I want to go deeper because this is really where everybody stops. They really stop at just doing the Gra prayers, or there's other techniques in other religions
Right.
like Buddhism, Tibetan, Zoroastrian, Persian, so, and Sumerian. They have different methods, but it all comes down, people, to one thing. And what we're going to talk about, everybody, is I don't care if you're red, black, blue, white, or purple. I don't care what religion you're in or what belief you're in. Every person on this planet has what they call chakras.
Right.
Now, the chakras, everyone, are energy centers within your body. And you'll see them all over the internet. You'll see many diagrams, standing up, sitting down. They'll have the ancient Sanskrit name, or they're going to have the modern name, the Western name, which we're going to use tonight because most people, I want to break this down to where everybody can understand it.
Right.
Now, they tell you that you need to balance your chakras, or you need to clean your aura.
Right.
Well, one has to happen before the other, and they don't tell you that. Right?
Oh.
So now, when you have your chakras, that is how the afflictions can affect you through these energy centers within your body
Right.
from different planets. So then a lot of people, they come up and they say, well, what else are they used for? Well, one, I want you to understand, and I'll just give you an example here in a little bit, but every chakra controls certain vital organs in your body.
Right.
So when it is out of line and off balance, it will cause an affliction within that organ. So now you might have pancreatitis, or you might have a heart issue. You might have what they call a heart block, which is the intermediate jump of the heartbeat.
Right.
So they may say you need a pacemaker.
Right.
Now, to be honest with you, this was about 9 years ago. And this guy came to me and he needed heart surgery. So open heart surgery, it was going to cost about $200,000 back then. Right? And he asked me, what do you think? He just wanted a second opinion. And I said, here's what I would do. I don't see that. What I'm seeing through your chakras and how everything is balanced, that you don't need open heart surgery, but your heart is swollen on the backside. And every time you breathe in, it is rubbing, it's hitting
Right.
the back, and it's causing pain. I would take not even a quarter of that, fly up to Miami, call ahead before, and find the best heart specialist and let him check you out. So 3 weeks later, he called, and he's in Miami. And it was the doctor that was calling. And he said, I want to let you know, I didn't think Trinidad had this type of medical equipment. But he said, your diagnosis was dead on. He said that the heart was swollen and that they could reduce that down with medication. But they do recommend that he gets a pacemaker. Right? So I said, okay, can we work together on this? He goes, what do you mean? I said, I want to adjust his heart chakra. And he goes, chakra? You know the board of that hospital, that surgeon hospital, was looking into chakras because they've heard of cases all over the world where people are being healed or miraculously improving by chakra adjustment. He said, of course. I said, well, set the setting at the lowest setting. He said, that defeats the purpose. I said, just do it. He's flying back in 2 days, right? He said, yes. So he flew back. I adjusted the heart chakra. Well, they can monitor that from away. And do you know, within a month, he went up, they took the pacemaker out. His heart was normal. So people, just within yourself, balancing yourself, to calm yourself, to bring your blood pressure lower, to start loving life, feeling not tired all the time, getting headaches, migraines. All of these can also be helped through chakra adjustment, not by machine. Do not manipulate God's vital source within you with manipulated source. You're going to end up with complications in the long run. What I'm talking about is physical adjustment, which we do. And there's very few, not in Trinidad, but there's a couple in the US and there's many in India. And you actually manipulate the chakra physically. That's why the number of petals per chakra that you need to know is very important. But I don't want to really get too much into the medical, but it is very important. Now, another reason why they're important, if the planets can cause an affliction onto a person, then can it work the other way? So when you learn meditation, but not the new meditation people, they're not going to get in where you need to be. What I'm talking about is the ancient techniques. Now, when you start meditating and you start knowing the right procedures and when to do certain things, your chakras, that energy will go up your chakra. Now, the goal is to unite with the super consciousness, which is God himself, and link through your soul. You'll connect to your soul first and then the super consciousness, which is the same. But what I'm trying to say, it works that way. There are different things. Now, you've took the class and you've seen, and you know there's things you could do now that you could just dream of, you know, and it only took 7 classes. But what I'm trying to say, everybody, the chakras are very important. So now you're wondering, how does the affliction, when it gets to your chakra, whichever one that it hits, how does it get all the way through you and go to the organs or the emotional status of a person? Well, how that works is that when the energy hits the chakra, it hits what they call the spiritual nervous system. And the spiritual nervous system is called the nadis. Now, the nadis, you have 72,000 of them inside of you. So picture a spider web going throughout your whole body. Now, that energy will come in and start going right through your spiritual body to the organ that is with the actual chakra and the planet, the affliction of the planet.
Right.
I'm trying to break this down easy. It's too much information to do in 50 minutes because tonight we have to stop at 5:50. But what I wanted to show you, and especially the Hindu public, is that when you have a gra, yes, and you should, if you want to, do a gra prayers. That's very important. But if you cannot or not able to do a gra prayers, you can do it through the chakra adjustment. Did you ever know that?
No.
Well, we're going to go over tonight. So if you're home and you have a paper and pencil, I'm going to go over which chakra is affected by which planet.
Oh, good.
We're going to get in detail tonight. Okay? So the first one, which is your root chakra, that is the one closest down at the bottom of your body. Now, the planet that affects the root chakra is Saturn and Mars. So then, the people with the birth signs of Aries, Taurus, Scorpio, or Capricorn can get affected by Saturn and Mars. See, a lot of people don't know this. Now, I know there's going to be some spiritual leaders listening. I know they're going to be writing it down real fast. Then they're going to try to call me and say, where do you reference this? And I can give it to them. That's not a problem. Now, there's another chakra. And it's like a hidden chakra.
Right.
In the Western world, they call this the middle sex chakra. Now, the planet that affects this one, or planets, is Venus, Mercury, the Moon, and Mars.
Wow.
The people who that by birth sign that it affects the most is the people in the signs of Cancer, Libra, and Scorpio.
Wow.
Now, let's keep going. And another layman term for the next one is the navel chakra. That's the layman terms. The planet that can affect that chakra is the Sun, Jupiter, Mercury, and Mars. So now, the signs, astrology that you're born under, the signs that it affects the most: Leo, Virgo, Sagittarius. They are affected. Well, let's go on up. Let's go up to the heart chakra.
Okay.
Now, the planet that affects that is the Sun, Venus, and Saturn. The astrology signs that you're born under: Leo and Libra. The fifth, which is the throat chakra. The planets that affect the throat chakra are Mars, Venus, and Uranus. And the astrology signs that you're born under is Gemini, Taurus, and Aquarius. We're almost getting there, everybody. The sixth is the third eye chakra, the one right between your eyebrows.
Right.
Now, the planets that affect that chakra is Mercury, Venus, Uranus. The signs, birth signs that you're under is Sagittarius, Aquarius, and Pisces. And then the seventh one that is affected is the crown chakra, the one on top of your head. The planets that affect that chakra is Saturn and Neptune, if you're born under the astrology signs of Capricorn and Pisces. So now you start seeing, and I'm going to go a little bit further. So what senses of your body can be affected if your chakras are out of balance and they're offline? I'm talking senses.
Senses.
If your root chakra is out, a couple things. One, the main one is smell. Now, you saw that one person that come in and saw me. Doctors couldn't help her.
Doctors.
And she kept smelling a stink.
Yeah.
A stink smell.
And no matter
But
what-
nobody else could smell it.
Right.
But when I went, I adjusted the chakra. And she's not smelling it no more.
was
But
there.
she went over 25 years smelling this. And she was very paranoid because she thought other people would smell it. You know? The middle sex chakra. Taste is the sense that could be affected. The navel chakra is sight. So when you start working on certain chakras, you can enhance these senses. A lot of people don't know this. The heart chakra, touch. That is what the senses that are driven from that chakra. The throat chakra, speech, and this one is for a lot of people, hearing. So when you go and you have someone check out your ears, they stick that little light in your ear, they're checking it, and what you found out is really not necessary.
It doesn't make any sense.
And then they will go ahead, do certain other checks. They could look at the acoustical organ. They could look at the Cortese organ. There's many different ways that you could look. And then they can't find anything. But if you start adjusting the chakras, you can actually start making a difference.
Right.
Now, before I proceed on, I want to say thank you to ZMB Communications Limited, Conversations with Zelisa, and also U97.5 FM, which is sponsoring tonight's program. And if you are wanting to know more about the chakras, what it can do, or if you want your chakras adjusted, you can call us at 354-4459. And we'd be glad. I'm going to have major classes coming up in April. And it's going to go so far in depth, people, it's going to scare you. Because we're going to go into the frontal location, the back location of the chakras, and how it can affect you. Now, we've had many people that was coming in tired. But what I wanted to stress on after we did do the adjustment, they're not tired. But the key is emotional afflictions. That is actually happened from the planets. And when you really start looking at this, it really makes sense. Now, I know it makes sense, but how does people know? They're like, how do I know he's not telling the truth? Well, you just need to start asking people that's come here, because they now believe, because they thought that was just a Hindu thing. They thought that was just for certain religions. It has nothing to do with the belief. Every person. Now, do you know what's really amazing? On the internet, through the web and everything out there, they talk about the 7 major chakras. Right? And they really elaborate that. Then they're going to say, here's the mantra to open up this one, and this is the sound to open up this one, which you see I have all the information in front of me. But this is not what you learn. This is from 33 years worth of experience. Now, when they start doing that, and you're looking, people, you just scratch the surface. Do you know, besides the 7 major chakras, there's 157 subchakras within your body? Do you know that these chakras is what a spiritual healer that is gifted from God, how they actually implement the energy to go to and from? You see Reiki masters. They're out there. They're doing the same thing, but it's at a surface level technique, which is good. But then there's one problem. Energy travels. So now you'll have them doing the Reiki, and then after a while they start complaining that they don't feel good, they're sick. Well, that energy is coming up within them. So now you got to learn, with training from a proper guru, somebody that knows what they're doing, how to regulate the energy flow through the chakra to protect yourself. It's almost like a valve. You're opening and closing, letting the water go in, the water go out. But people, what I'm trying to get through tonight is that people that has to where they get very angry certain times of the month, normally it's around the new moon, the full moon, they could be challenged with the affliction. Now, when that happens, the family, you better scatter, because that person is going to be very upset. Now, through the proper adjustments, that will go away. Now, let's go a little further. Some people might hear voices. And then they go see somebody, and the person says, do you actually hear voices? And they'll say, yes. And they'll say, okay, you're schizophrenic. And they put them on medication. But what could have happened, the communication channel of the crown chakra, the top one, could be too open. Now, when it's too open, you'll have communications from everything coming in. And as soon as the people came and they said they were diagnosed as schizophrenic, we said, okay, let's just check you to make sure. So we did the body scan. It came up normal. I said, now it's time, let's adjust your chakra. And when we did, voices stopped. Now they're normal. But if they wouldn't have come, they might be at St. Anne's. Or they might be on medication for the rest of their life. And they shouldn't have to be that way. Another person came in. I'm going over different scenarios, people. That the man had ED. Erectile dysfunction. But he was only 34. And that man he was devastated. That young, and he's having that problem.
Right.
Right? But, and his wife left him because he's been that way for quite a few years. So he heard, so he came. And we sat down, we talked, we went over everything. And I said, here's what we need to do. We need to adjust your root chakra. And when we did, do you know the next day, Siobhan, they called. And he started crying. And he said, it's working. He couldn't believe it. Because he was told this can't exist from his belief.
Now, Master, I could ask you a question, right?
Yeah.
So, what in the first place that is true of these chakras? Other than, like, I know it's the planetary afflictions, right? But is it something to do with, like, how, you know, as you spoke about a while back, the shift? Is it something to do with that?
There's a lot of things going to happen. All right, let me ask you a question. We talked about the shift last time. Now, if people Googled it like I told them to, they'll see where the magnetic field is starting to shift. Now, the energy waves comes down through the magnetic field.
Right.
Now, that can shift you off slightly,
Right.
your chakras. It could be an accident, a fall, a hard strike.
So there's a lot of contributing
There
factors.
is a lot of different ways
Okay.
that can throw the chakra off. But here's the thing. How does somebody know that their chakras are balanced? They don't. Half the people don't even know they have a chakra.
Yeah.
So it's good to go to somebody to see where you stand when it comes to the alignments. You know, a lot of people, we've even worked with people and some of the 157 subchakras, and there's a lot within the back of the brain, down the spinal cord.
Okay.
And that's when you saw me make adjustments to people who had Parkinson's.
Wow, yes, yes.
And you saw the shaking.
shaking with a cup
Stop.
of water and
It
when
stopped.
you adjust, yeah.
So what I'm saying, and then we know with the body scan right where to treat.
Right.
But how did we find it? Without the body scan, the full scan? Well, we did. We used the chakras.
Right.
And the chakras, bam. And when that energy went into them, they were steady. You know, so there are so many benefits. But when you have these afflictions that come to you, and sometimes in some beliefs they'll say, you could have this affliction for a period of 2 to 3 years or more. So do you want to go through that, you know, for that long? Or do you want to go in, have them checked, tell the person what you're going through, and they do the right adjustment to lower the effect of that's going on?
Right.
See, I don't know why people are keeping this a secret. Because people should know what is going on. How can you rectify the situations that you're going through? You know, when it comes to love, you got Valentine's Day coming up. Some people, I've met them, they don't know how to love. You know that? Some people say they're just cold. But their heart chakra is closed.
Oh.
And sometimes they're raised in that environment, but still, when they meet somebody and they start becoming happy, and then all of a sudden they could turn cold. It's not because they have another woman in some cases. It's because the heart chakra is closed. So then you have to adjust it. A person, and I only got 5 minutes left, a woman that cannot conceive.
Yeah.
And she's done all the tests. She's done all the treatments. They went away and did all the enhancement treatments. and it failed. Well, they spent $100,000 or more. Why didn't they come in? Because the people who came in, some of the people who were successful, their husbands are doctors. And they didn't believe in it. But when their wife became pregnant after the adjustments, they believe in it now.
Yeah.
But they will not go public.
No.
Okay, because it stands against what they're taught. All I'm saying, the best way to help someone, everybody, and we talked briefly this morning on the morning program, a person has to look at things medically and spiritually. And when you combine the two, that is power. And then people will start getting their results. Now, people who couldn't move their arms up past their shoulder.
Well, I've seen you done that with my own eyes. So yeah.
And just with one finger for 4 minutes, the person's going all the way up and over on the other side of their head, but they've been taking therapy for 9 years.
Yeah.
See, people, if you are having problems and you're watching this on YouTube and you just want to get checked out to see where you stand, even spiritually, the chakras, when you adjust them, opens up the doorways to where you can communicate with God. So, again, we're going to have in-depth classes in April because there's a lot of people that really need to know, and we'll go in depth, which one controls how many organs, what are they, what is the effect if they're open too much or closed too much.
Right.
How does it affect you emotionally per chakra if they're open too much or closed too much? There is tons of information. But again, I'm going back to the afflictions. If you are being, afflicted by something, some of you may not even think it's a planet, but 9 times out of 10, it's going to be. And you want to know, and you want to try to get help, you call us at 354-4459. If you're calling international, put an 868 in front of that. So it'd be 868-354-4459. I've got 1 minute left, and I want to say thank you to Z&B Communications, Conversation with Zelisa, and also U97.5 FM. Everybody, it's been a pleasure being with you tonight. I hope you understood. It's a little bit different than what we normally do. But I want you to think. I want you to sit back tonight. I want you to feel your body. And I want you to know what you've tried to do to fix the situation. And I want you to give this an open mind, because you will be totally amazed of how you're going to feel, how your partner's going to see you, because you're not being... Now, this isn't just females that's affected. It also affects males.
Yeah.
So if you're a female and your spouse or your boyfriend or your mom or your dad is going through this, and you've tried and exhausted everything, then give us a call. We can do the adjustments. It's ancient. I'm telling you, this isn't putting crystals on, and this isn't plugging you up to a machine. You are actually going to feel the adjustment when it actually happens. It don't hurt. You're actually, as soon as you stand up, and I'll tell you, close your eyes, you are going like this. You're feeling that energy start to shift within you. Now, when your energy is balanced, do you know how much weight is off of you? Because if your energy is not flowing vertically and it is tilted, now the gravity flow on your energy is working against you.
Oh.
So you are going to start to be more grounded. But doing your regular things in your belief is great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't do it. But some people right now can't afford it.
No.
Because of the way the economy is, the way everything's going, inflation. But chakra alignments and adjustments aren't that expensive. You know that. It's very cheap. And it's quick. People, don't play with your health. Don't play with your channel that you can actually reach God. There are so many benefits. I read which planets affect which one. So, I want everybody to see, feel, know, and listen to yourself. And everyone, I want to say, I want you to have a great night tonight. I want you, and also I do want to say, and if you want to know, you WhatsApp us. And you know when they're advertising that there's a full moon coming? Mm-hmm. And some say a special moon. Yeah. You know, the Americans and stuff like that. And they say, watch the moon tonight, or watch this eclipse tonight. There are some you're not supposed to watch. And if you want to know which ones, give us a call. We will let you know. It's just like during the week and during the month. Do you know there's 5 days during the month that you're not supposed to do no new business? You're not supposed to do anything new. If you started before, it's fine.
Right.
You don't sign no contracts. You don't sign no agreements. You don't do nothing during these 5 days of the month. If you want to know what those 5 days are, so you don't have the hassle, because if you do it during that 5 days, you're going to you're going to hit so many road bumps to get it accomplished.
Right.
It's going to take you twice the money and twice the time. All right? So everybody, I want to say thank you. I want you to watch next week, because especially the morning program, but in the evening, we're going to talk about relationships. Because why? The week after, it's Valentine's Day. And I want you to understand certain things so that the one that you're giving that Valentine's gift to is happy that day. And we're going to show you what the do's and the don'ts are when it comes to relationships. And if you're a man like me and you're smart, you'll listen to your beautiful wife. They will let you know. They will guide you what is right, what is wrong.
Yeah.
We just have to be open and sometimes, understand what they're trying to say. But everyone, it's been a pleasure, and I want to say thank you for being here with us. Good night.